Hey guys, so today we are going to do something a little different. Well, not, yeah, different, I guess. I watched a video not long ago about making extravagant hanging baskets. And I've always loved, the big, huge hanging baskets that like the whole thing is just covered all underneath and everything. And I've never known how to do it. Now that I have seen how to do it, it seems really easy, but I didn't know before then. But I want to give it a try. And since Mother's Day is coming up, I thought it would be a fun Mother's Day gift for Mom at her new place to have a beautiful hanging basket. Granted, it's not going to be much to look at yet because the plants aren't full grown, but hopefully once they are, it will be amazing. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit here, even though I'm going to make a mess all over again. Start with clean space. So while I would love to use my own starts, they're not really ready to go into something yet. And I also, like all of the petunias that came from the seed that I saved, I don't know what colors they're going to be. And I also just don't have a big enough kind of variety of different kinds of plants. So I thought I did better than that this year than I did last. I did, but it still just isn't quite what you can get at a nursery. So I went to one of our local nurseries last night, and these are the baskets we're going to be using. I just got these on Amazon, and I got a whole bunch of flowers, which I will show you here shortly. I do just want to give you a quick look at how our starts are doing. So these are our onions that I have given haircuts to, I think 4 times now. Yeah, they're really ready to go out, except I don't have anywhere to put them. A lot of things are actually ready to go out, and I don't have anywhere to put them yet. So, but also actually, onions I could probably put out, but like the last couple of days, we've had temperatures down into the mid-20s. So it's really still getting pretty cold at night sometimes, and it wildly varies. Sometimes it's in the 40s, and sometimes it's 25. So anyway, these plants here are all the ones for the plant promotion. Let's see if it will focus back in here. And these are our snails, and they seem to be doing really well. So I guess we'll continue to see how they do. And then, yeah, just everything. My celery is going gangbusters. Holy cow. It probably really needed to be in bigger pots, but I don't have bigger pots to put it in. Yes, more celery, all of this stuff. My poor brassicas down here and lettuce, they finally have survived mice and they are growing now. So fingers crossed. I definitely still have mice issues and they are still coming in here and eating things, but fingers crossed. So the one thing that isn't going great are my tomatoes. And I'm not really sure why. They this this is the first ones that are starting to get their second leaves. And we started these weeks ago. And they all germinated really well. And then they've just stayed like this, not getting their second leaves. So it's just super weird. So I've been giving it a bunch of fertilizer when I water, and maybe it was just the soil, but like I'm not having this issue anywhere else that I used the soil. Just super weird. Oh, and then, so I had here actually a cells filled with dirt, and they were labeled bee balm. And I was like, wow, none of my bee balm is coming up. Yeah, that's because I planted the bee balms and the tomatillos in the same cells. So that's the bee balm. These are the tomatillos. Oh my goodness. All right, these are the flowers. Aren't they beautiful? So I'm going to do 2 baskets, one for myself and one for Mom. And I'm doing Mom's based off of these verbena. They are just gorgeous. They're just beautiful. So I've got these, and then I'm going to pair them with some purples. And I think I was going to do one bright pink with them as well. Can't quite remember. But once I pull everything out, I'm sure I will. And then mine is going to be more purples and pinks with this guy as its kind of middle, what's that called? When the plant in the middle is the tallest focal point. So let's first start out with our baskets though. So I'm hoping that this is enough of the moss. Not sure how, it's like super compacted. So I'm guessing it is, but it doesn't seem to have any instructions for how to make it not be compacted. I guess maybe water? I don't know. Now I need to find something to try and do that with. And I guess we'll just put this in here and see what happens if we put some water on it. The only problem is I don't think I was supposed to start with wet moss, but that does look like that's what we're going to have to do. All right. It's now very wet moss, but I think we can still do what we need to do with it. So I very specifically got baskets with no liner in it because we're going to use the holes to plant the plant. Like literally the plants are going to be sticking out of the holes, which means you have to make layers in the basket. And you do that using this moss. It's moss. And kind of, let's see, push this back a little bit here so I've got some room to work. And what he did is he kind of just patted it together and then laid it in the bucket. I don't know. It seems suspect to me. It worked for him though. So he said you don't want it super thick, but it needs to kind of mat together a little bit, obviously, to hold the dirt in. I'm going to make a nice solid one for the very bottom. Actually, that's what I should do. Let's start there. Probably should have gone back and rewatched his video before I started this because I watched it a couple weeks ago. So this is going to be in 3 layers. The first layer is going to come out of these squares right here. And then the next layer will be here. And then there will be a layer on the top. So that's why you use this moss instead of having a liner already in it. I mean, I guess you could cut holes in a liner, but I feel like that would be tough with those liners. Nope. He made this look much easier. All right, I kind of don't want to lift it up until we put some dirt into it and see if it holds. All right, I need to get my dirt damp here. Okay, I think it worked. I guess we shall see. Hopefully this doesn't fall apart as Mom goes to hang it up. That would be terrible. All right, I'm going to move this to the side though, and I do need to figure out which of the flowers are supposed to go into this and what layers they're going to go on. So let's look at that next. All right, so I'm going to just get these out so I can kind of see what I have here. I know that these were not for that. I think maybe this one was for Mom's. I know that this white lobelia is. I'm pretty sure this one is not. This one is not. And this one is not. Okay. Good. Good start. And this one is not. This one is not. Okay, I think the rest of what is in here was for Mom, so I'm gonna put these down on the floor so we have some room. Man, these things smell good. Oh, it's amazing. Isn't this such a cool plant? What is it? Diamond Snow Euphorbia. Oh, it's just so like delicate and pretty. Love it. Oh, big clump of it fell off. That's all right. So unfortunately, the other thing that you're supposed to do is have small plants, but other than the petunias and the lobelia, I couldn't find anything in like small containers. They were all in this kind of size containers. So that's kind of a bummer, but all right. So we need 4 plants on the bottom. And I'm thinking, I think I'm going to put the peach in the middle. This guy, oh, you can't see this guy. Oh, it survived. Yikes. This guy is going to go in the top. So put them to the side. So I'm thinking we do these 2 and white lobelia. Do I want to put one of these guys down there? No, I think I want to do the white lobelia. Okay. Got it. This took me forever to figure out what I was going to use at the nursery yesterday. It was kind of ridiculous. All right, so I'm going to do these guys opposite each other. And I'm going to break this up a bit so it lays a little more flat. And then we're just going to bring it in the hole like that. And then we will cover it with soil. So you can see why it would be helpful to have smaller plants. But we will work with what we have. All right, then we're going to kind of go to the, what would that, 3 o'clock position. And this is some Calibrachoa. I love Calibrachoa. I think it's just one of the coolest plants. They're very excellent trailers, which is what we want. And then we'll put this guy opposite its pair. And where'd my other Calibrachoa go? And this is called Mini Famous Neo Blue. It looks purple to me. Okay. And then, yeah, I definitely should have washed this again. Pretty sure I put dirt. No, I need to next put more of the moss. I do feel like if this was dry, it would be easier because it would stick to each other a little bit better. The reason I'm not waiting until tomorrow and to let this dry is I'm actually headed out of town for a fun trip that will possibly end up with us having a new family member. So I will probably record it, but you might not see it for a while. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put more dirt in here. You don't want to pack it tightly, but you do want it to be patted down somewhat so some surface contact with all the roots. I think I'm going to lay a little bit more dirt down, so I need to build this up a bit more. Oh, and by the way, these are 26-inch pots, baskets, whatever you want to call them. And I do have chains for them. I just figured it would be easier to work with it while it doesn't have the chain on it. Oh, I forgot. That's right. You're supposed to kind of like tuck the next layer of moss in behind the dirt. So you're supposed to kind of mound it up. I have the next layer built up here. So I'm going to do this one on the top too, since I only got one of them. This is another Calibrachoa. This one is called Aloha Kona Sunshine. It actually has a little yellow throat to it. Very sweet. So we're going to go opposite of where I placed the bottom ones. Or not opposite, adjacent. That's the word I'm looking for, adjacent. Whew. That's a big guy. And then these verbena, this is Superbena Peachy Keen. All right, and then we build up the sides again to end with the top layer. Okay, we are ready for our final layer. Here is going to be this guy, which is a Nemesia bluebird. And it isn't upright, but I'm okay with that. It blooms from planting to hard frost. That's amazing. Full to part sun. Perfect. And then this guy is also more upright, I believe. Yeah, the Euphorbia mounding. And it also blooms continually until frost. And then I'm just going to fill it in with these purple petunias, which I lost the thing for it already, and the rest of the lobelia. All right, now we're just going to finish covering it with dirt. And start praying that my bottom was strong enough to hold this. Because this is going to be really heavy. All right, let me get the chains. Well, let's lift it up and see what happens. Well, it didn't immediately fall through. All right, let's find a place to hang this so we can see what it looks like. All right, I'm going to drill a hole here so I can put in a hook. Okay, moment of truth. Okay. Oh my gosh. I think it worked. A couple places that probably needed a little bit more. I wonder if I could stuff some in there. Now, well, you guys, it's holding itself, but you can definitely see places that I needed to do a little bit better job. And I just actually remembered that on the bottom, he put a layer of moss, and then he put like a circle, a fairly good sized circle of, like, I think he just cut it out of a feed bag, put that down, then put more moss over it, and then started putting the dirt in. I should have done that. I should have started with mine first, not mom's, so I could use it as my learning curve. So I don't think this will last if I leave it like this. But I only have about an hour left before I have to leave. So I'm just going to put this, I'm going to set it on the ground and let it just hang out until I get back. It's just going to be a couple of days. I'll build the other one and hopefully build that one correctly. And then when I get back, I will take this apart and rebuild it. And hope that the plants don't hate me for it. It's pretty though. I'm pretty pleased with how it looks. Not sure if you guys can see the colors very well. I think once it all fills out, it will be beautiful. And like once these petunias all start blossoming and start looking like this, it will be amazing. And this will all fill in up top. I'm very happy with it. Now it just needs time to fill in, which, you know, we still have a probably good solid 3 weeks before we would want to put this outside because of our freezing temperatures recently, and for the next 10 days at least. All right, let's put this back down and get to work on the other one. All right, let's try doing this one correctly. Let's start with cutting out our round piece that we need. Alrighty, so still put down a layer of moss. I think the other thing that I didn't do very well on that one, first one, is overlapping the layers coming up this way. So I really do need to tuck the next layer of moss in a bit better. There we go. That will be perfect. Now put our first layer of dirt in. So we have this guy, which is Tritunia burgundy, and it's got a really pretty purple, dark purple throat. And once again, we'll use the Nemesia as kind of that center point up at the top. So this one can definitely go to the side for right now. And I only got one verbena. This one is Super Vena Raspberry. And then we have these petunias, which are Daddy Red. I just love the variegation in the color. So pretty. So, and then I've got a bunch of alyssum. So, let's start on the bottom with this and alyssum. I think the other thing I want to do is make sure the plant is a little more inside the pot. And behind some of the moss. well, here she is, you guys. I am pretty impressed with her. I definitely did a much better job, and having the that plastic underneath, I think, is going to make all the difference. But I also did a better job of layering as I went up the sides. So I feel pretty confident that this will do well. I also kind of wonder, like, as it dries, if it will, kind of cling to each other a little bit better. Granted, it'll get wet every time it's watered, but yeah, so there's 4 plants on the bottom row down here, and there's 4 here. I probably could have put another one in between these, but these will fill out. This will be completely covered. So I just have to have patience. And in fact, I really feel like it's definitely has way more color on it than I was expecting, because I had to get such big plants. So it just needs time to do its thing, but I think it turned out great. Oh, and then on top, I believe there's like 7 or 8 plants on top. So yeah, I think this is just going to be beautiful. I love the colors. I love the colors. And I cannot wait to see what it looks like this summer, which I will definitely show you guys the results. And I will say, I don't know that this was necessarily less expensive. I mean, you could do it less expensive than I did. So I spent total on the flowers, it was like $160, I believe, $160. I do have a few left, like 6, I have 7. I have 7 plants left. But then the pots were, for all 4 of them, I think it was like $24. The moss was $13. So they're not inexpensive, even doing it yourself, plus the soil, of course, as well. But you could do it cheaper. I went to a nursery, which, I mean, I like to support local, so and they tend to have a better selection than like Home Depot. You could definitely go to Home Depot or Walmart and their garden center, and you'd spend significantly less on the plants. I also had quite a few chosen winter plants, which are on the spendy side, and I didn't need to do that. I loved the colors, so I wanted them. So you could definitely do this much less expensively. I actually don't know how much one of these would cost. I know one that just has plants in the top, those can easily get to like $70, $80, especially at a size of pot as this is, the 26-inch. But I don't know what the ones cost that like have it all the way draping down, and like they're like this will be. I have no idea. Does anybody know? Tell me if you know how much one of those would cost. Maybe they are really expensive. I'm sure they're expensive, but I don't know if they're less expensive than doing it yourself. Anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for coming along. This was a lot of fun, and it didn't take very long, actually, to do 2 of them, even though I'm going to have to go back and redo one of them. That was my fault. If you do it right the first time, it's a quick project. So if you've ever thought about wanting to have one of these big baskets, and the other great thing about it is you get to choose your own colors and plants. So it just makes it much more personal, and it's very satisfying to look at this and know that I made it. All right. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Bye.